Let's first speak to TRT World's Turkey political correspondent Hasan Abdullah, who joins us from Ankara. Hi, Hasan. First, give us a sense of the atmosphere in Ankara. The polls aren't exactly clear, so is either camp feeling confident about where this vote is going on Sunday?
Andrea, the campaigning in the capital has certainly been very vibrant, full of energy from both sides. As we move around the city, we can see supporters of the Yes campaign and the No campaign setting up their stalls in different parts of the city. They're driving around the city, taking out campaign rallies, playing campaign songs and so forth. Now, I've been talking to people from both sides of the campaigns, the Yes and the No campaigns. On the No campaign side, I've asked them what their predictions are, and they're saying, some of them are saying that it's going to be a close call, whereas many of them seem to have this feeling that it's the Yes campaign that is most likely to have its way. And I've asked them reasons as to why they think that may be so, and some of them have been rather provocative. Some of them have even suggested that the coup attempt that was carried out in Turkey somehow provided a leverage to those who are supporting this constitutional change, whereas when you talk to the other side, the Yes campaigners, they're saying that some of the suggestions that have been coming from their opponents have been ridiculous and conspiracy theories, and they're saying that it's basically their campaign that has been substantive and that they have been able to convince the voters. But there seems to be a realization on both sides in general that it is going to be a very tough campaign and also a very tough sort of vote on Sunday.
And Hasan, from the Yes camp's perspective, there have been some complaints about how the No camp has been run, particularly out of Izmir, where we'll be talking to in just a second, and also how foreign governments have handled campaigning. Tell us more about that.
You're right, Andrea. That's certainly been one of the major concerns here in Ankara. The politicians, the government officials in Ankara are saying that some Western countries, obviously they're talking about Germany, they're talking about the Netherlands, and some others, they're saying, have prevented the Yes campaigners from engaging in their campaigns. They've even prevented Turkish ministers from addressing those campaign rallies, which they are saying is a violation of not just their fundamental rights, but also the diplomatic norms. And what they're saying is that it is clear that some of the messages that have been coming from the Western governments and the Western media, it's clear that they are taking a side. And according to officials in Ankara, some Western institutions are sort of engaged in propaganda against President Erdogan. They're saying that at the moment they are busy with this campaigning, but later on, according to some officials, there may even be room for defamation cases against some of the media outlets, according to them.
Okay, Hasan Abdullah joining us live there from Ankara. Thanks as always. Let's cross over now to Andrew Hopkins, who's covering the last days of the campaign from Izmir in Western Turkey. Hi, Andrew. First, give us a better sense of why Izmir is so important in this vote.
Well, Andrea, Izmir is the third largest city in Turkey. There are about 3 million people who live here. But if you go into the center, it doesn't actually feel at the moment like there's a referendum campaign going on. If you look around, it's very hard to find any flags or any posters with yes or no on them. We walked around for quite a while until we actually found someone who's out campaigning either way. Then we found a small group of 4 or 5 women who are out in support of the no result. And one of the main reasons why the city is like this at the moment is because it's the stronghold of the CHP, the main opposition party in Turkey. When there have been previous constitutional referendums in recent years, there's always been a strong no vote here. If you look at the electoral map of the country, a lot of the CHP MPs come from this part of Turkey. So anything other than a no vote from Izmir at the weekend is going to be a major surprise. But for the ruling AKP party, it does have some support in this part of the country, in particular areas, particular suburbs. If you go there, it does look much more like there's a campaign going on. There are more flags and posters. But this city at the moment doesn't really feel like something that's reaching fever pitch just 2 days ahead of that referendum.
Nonetheless, what issues are actually important to the voters there?
Well, for the CHP and the supporters of the no vote, they really feel that this proposed new constitution is effectively some kind of power grab by the AKP. They're not convinced at all by these promises that it's going to mean a stronger government, stronger democracy, that it's going to remove all this conflict of power that has sometimes occurred in the system here in Turkey. They point to proposals such as the president will be able to appoint high-level public executives, will have more say in the appointment of judges and prosecutors as evidence that the government just wants to put its supporters and sympathisers in positions of influence. They say proposals such as the fact that future presidents may be able to be criminally investigated if there is evidence to support that are probably not going to amount to much if there are people who sympathise with the president in positions of influence. So there's a lot for the CHP that it disagrees with here. For the AKP here in Izmir, the main issue for that party is just to try and mobilise its support, get everybody it can out on Sunday to cast a vote in favour of yes. It's trying to pick up any wavering voters, any other people from nationalist right-wing camps, but it seems for their part they understand that there are some people here that they are never going to convince.
Andrew Hopkins, thank you so much for that. That's our correspondent Andrew Hopkins live there from Izmir, and also thanks to Hasan Abdullah there live in Ankara.